Hi everybody, this is Joe from Beantown Coins. Welcome back to our series on the 100 most commonly asked questions by coin collectors. And today we have question number 5.
Should I focus on collecting by denomination, era, or mint mark?
So you can focus on any of those things. I think that the way we usually talk about coin collecting in the US market, which that question seems to be somewhat geared to, is that you would first consider a typeset. And in the typeset, you've got an example of each of the types of coins. So if you did a nickel typeset, it would have each of the examples of nickels that the US has ever made. And if you had a dime typeset, the same thing. You could have an entire US typeset, which is a really fun endeavor. Sometimes people spend their whole lifetimes working on their US coin typeset because it's going to have one example of every kind of coin that the US made. Then you get into a series. So if you're really into the barber series, for example, you might choose barber quarters or barber half dollars or dimes, and let's say you chose barber halves. Then you would do a date set. If you're really into that particular series and you want to be thorough about it, then you would collect one of each date. You can get even more into the thoroughness of the barbers. For example, you want to have every barber that ever was. Then you would need to do a date and mint mark set for each of the different denominations. So there's 3 different denominations, dimes, quarters, and halves. And you would want to get every date and every mint mark from each of those 3 series. And that would be dominating the barber series. And then you can get into proofs. Sometimes people have a thing called a proof type set, which means they want a proof example of all of the types of US coins. So how you choose for yourself which way to go, it can be budgetary. If you're going to do a proof type set, it's going to cost you a lot more money. So in general, budget precludes people in the early years from collecting the proof types. It really comes down to, I suppose, how much you love a particular coin or coin style or design. I do recommend typesets in general for people in the early days of their coin collecting so that you can figure out which denominations and series and design types that you fell in love with the most. Because then once you know what it is you really dig, like you say, okay man, I'm really into standing quarters. I just think that's the most beautiful thing that the US ever made for coin types. And then I'm like, well, cool, do you want to get one spectacular standing quarter with a full head and a graded holder at the highest grade point that you can afford, maybe 65, 6, or 7, and then you just have this one ultimate piece for your favorite type? Or you're so into this series that you say, Joe, I want to go after the whole set, and then we have to figure out based on your budget whether you want to pursue that in a circulated condition, a mint state condition, or a full head mint state condition. So there's lots of questions to answer from that. But I hope this was a taste in how do you decide which way to pick your coin collecting start, and tune in tomorrow for our next one.